Will Joe Biden be dropping out of the presidential race this week? Could it be as early as today, June 30th, a Sunday? According to a report from NBC News, it's definitely possible. Now, that they aren't saying that, of course, but they did report some pretty big news over there. An article titled, "It's a Mess. Biden turns to family on his path forward after his disastrous debate." Subtitles, Democratic leaders have stood by the president as he faces questions about his ability to defeat Trump in November, but privately, many are expressing concern. So let's just, before we get into the article, let's start right there. If Joe Biden is dropping out, if he's not dropping out, if they're trying to convince him to drop out, if they're trying to convince him to stay in the race, doesn't matter what the circumstance is, they're going to act the same. They being Barack Obama or Nancy Pelosi or any of those people. They don't have the luxury of being able to play their hand, regardless of what the hand is. Okay, of course, you've got Republicans saying, ha ha ha, he should drop out. I, of course, have been saying, oh gosh, please don't drop out. He is the easy button. He is the path for Trump to get back into the White House, the easy way instead of the hard way, of course. But yeah, so let's not read into, well, Obama's supporting him, and Obama says, hey, bad debates happen, and it's no big deal. That's if Biden was staying in, if Biden's dropping out, doesn't matter. Their narrative up until the point where the decision is announced, or maybe not, maybe it never gets announced. If he's going to stay in, well, they would be reacting the same. So take their words with a grain of salt. According to the article, President Joe Biden is expected to discuss the future of his reelection campaign with family at Camp David on Sunday, following a nationally televised debate Thursday that left many fellow Democrats worried about his ability to beat former President Donald Trump in November, according to 5 people familiar with the matter. Biden's trip, they had to throw this in, paragraph 2, Biden's trip was planned before Thursday's debate. Now, that doesn't tell us anything. It's not like any of them were blindsided, completely shocked that his dementia shone through during the debate. They were expecting it as either at least a possibility, maybe even a likelihood, maybe a certainty. They knew it was going to happen. So the fact that oh, don't worry, this meeting was planned before the debate, that doesn't tell us anything. Back to the article. He and his first lady, Jill Biden, are scheduled to join their children and grandchildren there late Saturday. In other words, if it is what I think it is, and what a lot of people apparently think it is, then this is him telling them, basically breaking the news to them that he is dropping out. Now, it's definitely possible that he's not. I have no indication other than the fact that there's a meeting. I have no insider knowledge that he is definitely going to drop out, and the article itself doesn't even insinuate that. But they did go into the I guess you could say self-defense mode of saying, well, everybody's supporting him, but, well, there's been some talks, so, yeah, it's kind of insinuating. So, finish up with the article. So far, the party's top leaders have offered public support for Biden, including in tweets posted by former President Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. Senior congressional Democrats, including Hakeem Jeffries, Jim Clyburn, Nancy Pelosi, have expressed concerns about his viability, said 2 sources apprised of this discussion, even as they all publicly back the president. And of course, behind closed doors, you've got the vast majority of them are concerned. And when I'm talking about specifically about those on Capitol Hill, Democrats on Capitol Hill, as well as bureaucrats, as well as Democrats across the country. And I would argue that they probably had this concern for a long time. They were just hoping against hope, or maybe playing the long game, or maybe they were just given a memo that says, hey, don't worry, we're going to dump him June 30th or July 1st or whatever. We're going to dump him right before the July 4th weekend, and then that way it'll be swept under the rug. I don't know what the plan is. But if they do plan on dumping him, then we might hear as early as today. I doubt that, but probably this week if that decision is made. Now, there are logistics to consider, because he's already going, whoever his replacement would likely be, is already going to have an uphill fight to become the replacement. If this were after the convention, and if he were to drop out then it's easier. They just have to get the basically a majority vote for somebody from the members of the Democratic National Committee, which is about only 500 people. Otherwise, if they do it beforehand, they're going to have to be able to sway delegates. There's just a lot more people that they have to talk to, and people that they don't necessarily have as much control over, even though they should. But we'll see. Again, they may just think, you know what? Let's cut our losses. Let's get somebody else in there as quickly as possible. Let's fight the battle before and during the convention versus waiting till after the convention, after Joe Biden is the nominee, then he drops out, then the DNC gets to pick his replacement. Who knows? I don't know what their strategy is, but and again, there is still the possibility, and maybe I'm hoping against hope, there's still the possibility that Dr. Jill just isn't going to let him drop out, because in reality, it will be very challenging for them to be able to replace him. Now, there are those that say, I keep getting these comments, weird comments in Rumble and places like that saying, oh, you're being stupid. He can't drop out because he can't get on the ballot. You know, a replacement couldn't get on the ballots here, there, or wherever. Folks, the states, trust me when I say this, they will, if there is a strange circumstance, such as a sitting president and the standing nominee dropping out, they will find ways through lawfare, through any, I mean, if they can put Steve Bannon in jail, then they can figure out a way to get Joe Biden on the ballot. If they can keep Jay Sixers in jail, as long as they have, they can find some way to get Joe Biden on the ballot. If they can get Joe Biden in the White House in the first place and somehow convince a bunch of people that he got 81 million votes and that he got more black votes than Barack Obama, then no, they're not going to have a problem with getting on the ballot, especially if they do it between now and, say, mid-August. Okay, and I would say, you know, after mid-August, now we're starting to get into now it's danger zone. Now you're right. You know, at that point, I'll be like, hey, it's probably too late. But between now and then, they will find a way if that's their choice. My shows and clips from my shows post on various places such as RVM News, Rumble Channel, Frank's Speech, Spreely TV, the Liberty Daily's Rumble Channel, but the place where you'll be able to find all of them, every clip that I do, eventually, sometimes not nearly as quickly as the other places, but eventually I will put them all over on my Rumble channel, which you can get to at jdrucker.com/rumble. That's jdrucker.com/rumble.